Hello, Crown Rebellion. I'm at Kearns.
Can you tell us, how did you get into writing?
My mom's an English teacher, actually, or was a teacher rather, second grade teacher. And she just always edited everything that I wrote, my papers and stories and things as a kid. And actually in 4th grade, I won a district award for creative writing. I wrote a short story about time travel. And I think I visited myself in the future in the story. I've always been intrigued by time travel. So that's definitely where it started. And then I just kind of always wrote things after that, poems, I guess, or other little short stories. And then, yeah, that'd be the beginning. Yeah, the next step was I decided that people don't really read anymore, they go to the movies. So I went to film school out of high school and made a few short films and then overwhelmed myself with like 37 hours for a film that was supposed to be about 15 minutes long. So I kind of retreated from filmmaking. I realized I didn't have many of my own stories to tell. I was turning friend stories into short films. And started, actually, I got a vision late.
Oh, way.
I started, when I was probably around the same time I started film school, I kept up with the writing, but it was like highly personal stuff. Or like journals, or I call them scrolls at the time. And basically they'd be like, they started as like a basic notebook, and then I started crafting covers and all kinds of stuff, and putting found objects in there.
That's great.
Leaves and all kinds of stuff, just to kind of, it's the same reason why people get tattoos is why I write stuff down, I guess. Someday I'm going to want to remember all of it. So like I was still using words at that time. Then I got married, went on a trip to Europe, moved to New York, got here, spent a year writing my last rites, I called it, W-R-I-T-E-S. I call it, it's the assassination of self executed with a pen, I called it. It's kind of like a type form of these kind of things, but kind of tracking our moves, the emotional upheaval of the move and things, and my life. And I wrote that for about a year, and then I wrote some short stories, and I've started a novel and a short story since.
What do you usually write about?
I don't know, I like to think they're pretty, fairly human stories, slices of life. But I'm also interested in elements of fantasy, and not necessarily like swords and wizards and things, but like magical realism really intrigues me when it comes to film. So I like to introduce levels perhaps of implausibility. That's better to say than fantasy. Magical item or so, or things, or mysticism even at times. But human stories, though, I mean, I'm interested in human suffering. The city is good for me because of the fact that there's so many people everywhere, and you can look at their eyes, their hands. I think hands tell you a lot about people, and I feel like I succeeded when I am burying myself or something in the characters that I meet. So I mean, I try to write humanity, I guess you'd say.
So you moved to Arizona, to New York. How has that impacted your writing?
Well, that's again, I mean, like I say, I stopped the filmmaking to kind of. Now that I didn't really do it consciously, I more got overwhelmed by the project that I was doing, but because I didn't have the stories, now that I reflect on it, I didn't have the stories of my own to tell. So coming here, it went from being, you know, me kind of painting in a cave in my scrolls, to typing that last rites project I did for that year, kind of a memoir thing. I was diligently editing it every day on my way to work and trying to make it, you know, it was a personal project in essence, but like I obsessed over trying to write it as best I could. So I would say that my discipline as a writer, writing things that I can, that I'll stand beside as, you know, that I'm proud of, and that was, I mean, leaps and bounds changed my writing. I mean, the characters all around me, the inspiration, the muse of the city, my productivity went through the roof and started telling stories again and really beginning to understand the craft. So I mean, it had a huge effect, and it's like I plugged into a major source of inspiration.